Hey there, Marissa here. Today's topic, the driver. I'm not going to go into too many specifics about the golf swing. I will cover those in another video, but this is just basically for the new golfer. For those of you that are more experienced or advanced, this could be a refresher or a review. Just confirming the checkpoints, how to set up, and what the swing should look like. So, driver. Driver is the longest club in the bag, biggest head, biggest club face, lots of room here, a lot of hitting area. The drivers of today are fabulous. If you have a driver that is, oh gosh, I'm going to be very forgiving here. If your driver is 10 years old and younger, or actually, no, I'm going to go the other way. If it's 10 plus, you need a new driver. You're missing out because technology has improved dramatically, along with any other sport. For those of you that play sports that require equipment, skis, baseball bats, softball bats, tennis rackets, everything progresses over the years to help with forgiveness. You know, equipment's lighter, larger, more forgiving. So like here, see this, I mean, if I showed you a driver of mine from 15-20 years ago, it wouldn't look as nice as this. But this is the Callaway Maverick. It's my driver, new this year. And this particular driver has a 10.5 degree loft. What does that mean? It's basically the angle of the club face at address. Now, some drivers will have, 9 degrees, 10 degrees, all the way up to, say, 14 degrees. The higher the loft, the higher the ball flight. So for those of you that, are looking for loft or struggle with getting the ball up in the air, don't be afraid to get something high lofted. So easy. Nice lightweight shaft here. But like I said earlier, it's the longest club in the bag. It will go the furthest, hypothetically speaking. It should go the furthest. We always use a tee with the driver because it has the least amount of loft compared to all the other clubs in your bag. So this is the only club you will use a tee, off the tee. Once you hit this club off the tee, you won't use it again. You'll put it away. So how high do I tee this ball up? Now, because the club face is so deep, it's especially more so now with the newer drivers, we need to get that ball up really high, because when we make impact, we want to make sure that we're hitting it here in this circle. That's the sweet spot. If we tee it too low, we're not going to maximize the launch, the ball flight. So starting point, you want to tee the ball. Let's see if I can balance this. Tee the ball so it's about halfway above the club, top of the club. So, or say the top of this club is setting up to the equator of the ball, the belly of the ball. That's pretty high. Some people may want it higher, which is fine, just depending on their swings, but I would never go lower than this. Okay? So that's how high you should tee it, always. Now, as I said in my previous video with irons, you always want to pop the tee out. Even with the driver, that tee should come right out of the ground. If I'm not popping the tee out of the ground, okay, when I set up and I take my swing and I'm not popping the tee out. Whoops. Great. Hold on. So say the ground is here, right? The tee's in the ground. I'm setting up. Once I take my swing and the club comes down to impact and the tee does not come out of the ground, that means the club is here hitting the ball. See that? So that means I hit the ball with the bottom part of the club. Not good. You're not going to get optimal results. So always pop the tee out. So if it's about here, you're going to make contact with it. Ball will fly. Now, the swing. Well, hold on. How about the setup? Irons, balls are, the golf ball is basically in the center of our stance. Stance is about shoulder width. Driver, fairway woods. Fairway woods I'll cover in another video. Outside our shoulders. Why? Because it's a much longer club, wider, longer swing arc. So we need balance. Need to be balanced. The ball will be inside our front foot going towards the target. So I'm a right-handed golfer. My golf ball will be inside my left heel. So a little wider stance, ball is inside my left heel. Now because the ball is placed forward, notice this grip is not at my belly button anymore. It's now going to be about inside of my left thigh. Now when I do that, when I move my hands and arms this way, notice what's happening to my shoulders. So make sure when you set up that your back shoulder, your trail shoulder, which means away from the target, is lower because your right hand is lower on the grip. So you want that shoulder tilt where you're going to help the ball up. This is so important in terms of setup when it comes to the driver. So make sure your shoulders aren't parallel, they should be tilted. Left shoulder is higher than my right shoulder. Okay, and again, you want to make sure your arms are hanging freely from your shoulders. The weight is on the balls of your feet. Now, in terms of the swing, still going back to that toe-tee-toe. The toe of the club. So this is the toe of the driver here, that top part here. When you start your swing, you want the toe of the club up. Same thing with the driver. Same idea. So the toe is up, we're popping the tee out, and we're following through on our toe. Okay, that's the toe-tee-toe sequence. Little different because it's a longer club, little loft. I'm going to have you drag the club back 3-4 feet along the ground for a couple of different reasons. Now, when I drag the club back, and yes, for sure, definitely 3 to 4 feet. When I drag it back, it's forcing me to rotate my shoulders and keep an extension with my left arm in the club versus just picking my arms up. See, there's no turn. If I drag it back, it forces me to rotate my shoulders. Reason number 2, helps with the tempo. Okay, it's such a long club, you got to be patient. So dragging it back will definitely help your tempo. It'll smooth it out. And I say with the majority of my students that first start learning to hit the driver, they love dragging along the ground. It just really helps them feel that turn, and it doesn't, you're not rushing or jerking the club back. You want that speed on the downswing, not the backswing. Last reason why I would drag it along the ground. I'm more relaxed. So I can't really drag it back and keep my grip. Hold on. If I'm gripping it tight, I can't really drag it back. If my hands are soft, my arms are soft, and I'm dragging it back, I don't feel any pressure or tension at all. I'm taking the club back basically with my shoulders, not my hands or my arms. I hope that makes sense. So that's your backswing. Backswing key number 1. Drag it back 3 to 4 feet along the ground. Still trying to keep the heel down if you can. It's a bigger club, bigger swing, so the heel may come off the ground. That's okay. As long as you keep your spine, your posture intact, then you can pick it up all you want. If you pick it up and stand up, well then now you're in trouble. So drag it back. I'm going to pop that tee out, and I'm going to follow through again, so I'm on my toe. Big swing here, okay? This is not a follow through. I mean, let this club fall over your shoulder, okay? So this is a big turn right here, especially with the driver because it's the longest club in your bag. What else? Now, some people hate their driver. They may struggle with it. So you can certainly tee off with your 3-wood because it's a smaller head, has more loft, has a shallower face. It's easier to launch the ball up in the air, and you may be more consistent. So, you know, teeing off with a 3-wood and you know, keeping the ball in play, probably not losing too much distance, but drivers today, I would get fit. So you get the proper shaft flex. I mean, for those of you that struggle with your driver, it may not be your swing. I mean, it could be, but check the equipment first, because if the shaft is too stiff, too heavy, maybe you don't have enough loft, well then yes, you're going to struggle and you're going to think it's your swing, but it could be really the club. More places now than not do club fittings, and club fittings are great because they're going to have you try a few different clubs. Definitely use your current driver as a baseline, and you're going to see they're going to fit you into a club that will give you the optimal results. You know, the right launch angle, the most consistency, and most distance. So don't be afraid of the driver. I mean, make sure you know, if you have a driver that's a little outdated, then don't be afraid to try a new one. They're awesome. And also, last note, the driver you're only using, say in a 9-hole round, because say there's 2 par 3s in a 9-hole round, you're only going to use the driver 7 times. The entire round, 7 times. So don't be practicing this all the time. Especially, you know, if you're struggling with your irons. The percentage of shots on a scorecard, this is so slim. It's little. So don't get too hung up on the driver. I know personally, of all the clubs in my bag, this is my least favorite. It's just, I don't know. It is, but I still love it. Especially my new one here. I hope this was helpful. Trying to keep it really simple and basic, tying it along with the other videos. I will have videos that will go in more detail of mechanics, swing mechanics. So if you're doing everything I'm telling you now and you're still struggling and the club was fitted for you, well then, look me up. If you have any questions, let me know. I will see you soon. Thank you.